Okay, welcome to Here for the Horses. Glad you're here for the horses. Tonight we have a jam-packed evening. We're gonna go over a couple questions. We're gonna go over a couple videos. Um, I wrote everything down, so that always helps. And then we're gonna go over the homework for this week also. Okay, and then get your pen and paper out. So March 25th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are going to be meeting with Russ Paulson of Better Horse Belly. He also um he also does Farrier Wife products. Okay, so you know how Georgia loved that belly salve. So Farrier Wife is one of his products, the belly salve, and he has a couple other things in there. Better Horse Belly, and that's by Equines. Same company. And then his website is animalhealthsolutionsllc.com. He has a longer website than I do. Okay, so we're going to be meeting with him Wednesday, March 25th at 5 p.m. You guys are going to like him. I had a chance to sit down with him and talk with him about just like what we should talk about and kind of go over it. This guy's really cool. You're going to like him a lot. So I just pretty much told him after our meeting, I just said, I just want you to repeat everything that you said to me and all the same stories because he had awesome stories, super fun. I really appreciated his viewpoint on some things. So we're going to talk about Better Horse Belly. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. And just letting you know, I've had Georgia on it for 2 weeks now because I was telling you guys that she doesn't have like stomach issues like ulcers or anything like that, but in the winter she gets a little runny. Um, and I think it's because the hay is dry, right? Because in the summer she's lives on pasture and she doesn't eat dry hay. And then in the winter she obviously has hay to eat. And I think the dryness of it makes her get the runs or something. But it's nothing bad, but it's definitely something that I've noticed. And then I thought it was interesting that when I started her on Better Horse Belly after Russ and I had talked, uh she's back to normal. So I was really excited about that because it wasn't a major problem, right? But it was just something that I had always noticed. Like during the winter, she gets, and what, you know why I started paying more attention to it? This is kind of funny. So it gets runny, like I said, and not, it's still solid, but it's on the runnier side. So one day I looked out and I was like, Georgia, what are you doing? And she had her little butt cheeks up on the gate, the metal gate, and she just had her little butt cheeks right on the end of it. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, get your butt off that. It's right where you grab to close the gate. So she's got her little nasty butt on that. And so then I was paying attention and I started noticing that she was doing that relatively often. So I was going out there and I started kind of looking around. That's when I noticed that she was a little bit of runny. And so then I was like, do I need to? This is what I thought. I thought to myself, she doesn't like the liquid running down her little butt cheeks. So she goes and plants her little butt on the gate and like dries it off that way. Or it's cold. I'm not sure. But so I started taking a towel out there, and if she poops while I'm working on her, I'll wipe her butt like a little infant. Okay. And she likes it when I do that. Like I dry her off. She likes it because she doesn't like that running down her butt. So now I'm wiping my horse's butt. It's getting ridiculous, but we do that for our horses. But I did think that that was really interesting. So I haven't had to do that lately. So that's been great. I agree, Lise. Yeah, it burns the sensitive skin around the anus. I think that's exactly what it is. I agree. Because it also, she kind of loses a little bit of hair, also. I agree 100%. And so, yeah, because she's not really the type of horse that would be like, yeah, go ahead and do that with that towel back there. But she is. She's like, no, go for it, because I really don't like that liquid on my butt. So yeah, it was really interesting. Let's see. Oh, I don't think I changed back my recording. So we're gonna probably all be on the recording. Yay. Okay, so let's talk. So that's March 25th at 5 p.m. And I really liked some of the stuff that he had said. I wish that I would have recorded our meeting because I think it would have been fantastic for it is probiotics, Marge. Yeah, the better horse belly. It's probiotics and prebiotics. So he's going to talk about what those are and why they help and why, certain ones work better than others. So it's going to be really informative, which I enjoy. Yep. And yeah, something so simple that can help. That's amazing. Let's see. So let's talk about a couple things. I want to show you guys a video of Christy and her horse Luxie. Okay. So let me find it here and get it pulled up first. You guys, I did have to shut my computer down from last week. I had to shut it down and I cleared out all the cookies and stuff. And so now it's super annoying because I have to log back into everything. But it did help. So that was good. All right. So let me share my screen here. Share. Oh, let me tell you first what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to play a short clip for you of Christy and her horse Luxie. And what I want is I want you to tell me that what she did that created the release. That's not really the right way to say it. So her horse released based off something that she did, and I want you guys to tell me what it is. Okay, hold on. I got to let Carol in. Carol's knocking. Okay. So I'm going to show you this video. I'm not going to say anything. And you write in the comments what you think, what she changed that made the horse release, that released the muscle. That's the best way to say it. Okay, here we go. And I know these are kind of blotchy sometimes or whatever, but all right, here we go. Play. There's the release. Okay, let's watch it again.
She's rubbing her shoulder.
Okay, one more time. Okay, can anyone tell me what she did? Okay. You guys are good. Oh, you guys are too good at this. I thought I was going to stump you. Oh man, you guys all got it. Okay. That was too easy, I guess. Um, change directions, yeah. Yep. Um, so she went from downward strokes, downward, which is great. That's nice to warm it up, downward strokes, and then she changed and went upward. You guys are too good at this. I should have made it harder. Yeah, you all got it. That was awesome. Yeah, push the skin up. Okay, so I'm saying that and showing that because it's impossible to remember to do everything, you guys. So I get it. I was just out working with Georgia, if you guys watched my live video, and I could have done 10 things different. Every time I watch a video of myself back, I'm like, well, I should have done that there, right? So just letting you know, don't feel bad about that. But she changed directions. And one thing that you might hear me say is, I love it when you go against gravity, against gravity. So think about just your own body, everything's always pulling down, right? So when you go against gravity, things just feel good. Okay. So that's what she did. She was going with it. Yeah, I found Whiskey was very confused, but likes it when I go up against gravity. Yeah, they don't feel that sensation. They don't feel like, think about it. When would a horse ever feel that sensation of like lifting their body? Never. Never. Okay. They might feel like, because they can scratch back and forth, so they could feel the back and forth movement, but they're never going to feel that feeling where they rub up, unless maybe they were like rolling over or something. So I think that was really cool to see how that helped that horse release tension. Okay. So that was pretty cool. And it was instant also. Instant. Okay. Um, Another thing I want to talk about was Judith. Okay, let's watch that
Hey,
really quick and
recording.
let's hope that it actually works. I won't have to shut it down. But let's go. So yeah, I'll put that video up now because I didn't approve it before.
Stop it.
But Judith's first video, um,
Huh.
with Maple did not like it, right? Why is it all highlighted? Okay. So let's find it here. Hold on. Maple did not appreciate the work that was being done. And so I gave Judith some tips. Well, there's the follow-up. I don't remember what it was. Maple belly. Here we go. Oh yeah, slap. Okay, do you see the stomping? Look at that.
Hey, Erin, we can't see whatever it is you're looking at.
Well, that doesn't help. Hold on. Okay. Can you see it now? All right, cool. All right, hold on. Let's go back. I'll make it big too. That'll help. Okay, so here's Judith and Maple. I'll fast forward a little bit here. Okay. So she's doing the belly rub. You see him stomping, throwing his head. He's like, I don't like this one. Throwing his head. Walking around. Okay, pretty obvious. He doesn't like that, right? So let's go to the follow-up. My suggestion was to slap him on the belly. Okay, so don't rub, slap, and see if that helps. Okay, here's the follow-up. See that? Look at that. Yeah. So I want to talk about this because I didn't give Judith the answer. So those of you that watched that video or that follow-up, I made sure not to yeah, just unmute like Wanda did if I ever am talking like I am watching something you guys aren't. Um, but I asked Judith in that follow-up video because I want you guys to start thinking deeper, you know what I mean? Like I want you to think. So in the first video, he was like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. Okay. And then she changed her method. And then all of a sudden he was like, Wah. Okay. So our belief, the knowledge that we got from that is that he didn't like the rubs, but he did like the slaps. But my question to Judith was, what did we really learn though? What did we really learn? So tell me in the comments, what did we really learn about him in that session other than he didn't like the rub? Thank you. I thought I was asking hard questions. And you guys are making me feel like I need to really work harder at getting you guys stumped. Yeah, he had tension there. That's what it was. It was tension. Okay, that's what we learned. So, this is what I want you to think about instead of going, the horse doesn't like that. I want you to think to yourself, what does that mean? Like, why doesn't the horse like it? Why? I don't know, because there's tension there. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have a spot that hurts, or I don't know, I don't get headaches, but for those of you that get headaches, like I feel like headaches are a really good example of this. Like I've seen some of my friends where I could tell like they didn't feel good and they're like, "Oh, I just have a headache." And um they were like, "Oh my gosh, I could tell by looking at them and I could just tell like they didn't want to be touched or talked to I have two friends that get migraines and they're like the lights are too bright. I'm like, "What?" The lights are too bright. Okay, I don't know, go into a cave or something. It's all this like kind of stimulus, like they just don't feel good. So think about the same thing with your horse. If they have tight abdominals or any part of their body and you're coming around doing stuff, they're just going to be like, don't touch me. So we have to figure out how to get them to be okay with it, if that makes sense. So one of the things that you can do to get them to be okay with it is to change your stroke from rubbing to slapping. Change your speed from slow to fast, fast to slow. Change your depth. or your intensity. So you guys remember Ursa and Azia, the big white horse that like did not like soft touch on her face. She made it really clear. Okay. So I was like, do it harder, right? Do it harder. And so she just right on the face, right on the forehead. And I mean, I get it. You guys, you might feel like they don't like it soft. You want me to go in hard? Are you crazy? But yeah, they want you to go in hard. Okay. Yeah, Stephanie, inside versus outside. So if any of you guys watched, and we all love Havana for showing us that very clearly, but if you watched Cheryl's video this week with Legend,
You're such an asshole.
she was outside with him,
Chinese.
and she didn't, and he did not. Oh, and then it was too windy, so she had to go inside. Okay. And yeah, he didn't like it inside. He did not like it inside. So I was asking Cheryl, you know, like I don't know why he's acting like that. I really didn't. But like I want you to test it out and tell me if he can handle it out, like if he's fine outside or if he just doesn't like it at all. Like I wanted to know that. And that's something super easy to test, right? Super easy to test. As you guys have seen, Paige has been outside the whole time now. You know, okay. And if that wouldn't have been it, then you got to figure something else out. Okay. Yeah. So just just try to figure out what it is. And then also, like I was kind of asking, is it like feeding time? You know, stuff like that. I think I asked somebody else that. Okay. So just some stuff to think about. But yeah, good for you guys. Yeah, it just showed us that he had tension there, right? And I feel like horses that have a lot of tension in their face, your head shy horses, that's what it is. It's tension. And so until we can figure out how to get the tension out, that's why I'm constantly talking about the pole gets blamed for everything. And we try to release the pole, and then they still have tension and they're still head shy. Because you didn't get the tension out of where it was. It's not in the pole. That's why I talk a lot about releasing tension in their head. You know, get that released. Okay. So super cool. And then Oreo fooled me. And we'll talk about that later. Oreo got me this week. But yeah, I wanted to talk about that. Does anyone have questions on any of that? Or anything that stands out? Because it was pretty cool. Yeah, Keegan liked the slapping. They do. They like the slapping. It feels good. It feels good. I don't know. Yeah, I've had two headaches. I've had more than two headaches, but you know how I knew I had COVID? I got a headache. I got COVID twice, and each time I got a headache, and I was like, "Is this what headaches are like? This is awful. I'm gonna go take a nap." And then I went and took a nap, and I was fine. That was my COVID experience. Oh, really, Jenny? Yeah, weird. Isn't that weird? You got a migraine, huh? Yeah, that's how I could tell I had COVID. And then my husband got tested and he had it, so I knew for sure that's what it was. Okay. Feel free to put any questions in there if you want. I did want to show you a little bit. I did a really cool video, and oh my gosh, really? It sucks. I want to show it to you. I think this is what I loaded, so I hope, because I put it on the coaching community site. Hold on. Let me see if it's loaded up yet. It might not have loaded. Oh, I might be able to play it from. Oh, this is it. Hold on. Let me see if this is it first. Oh, yeah, it is it. Okay. I didn't think this would be the view of it. Let me share. For those of you that had a hard time with, actually, hold on. The belly lift is not easy. There is certainly a technique to it. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like I will continue to improve upon it to help people out that struggle with it. But I did do this cool video, so we'll just watch it. So here's the different techniques from a really cool view. And Georgia, you know, she's just such a champ. Such a champ with everything. Hold on. Okay. Can everyone see that? Give me a thumbs up. My face. Okay, cool. Here we go. Hey guys, we have a great idea. Never be worried when I say be worried. And trust me, she does not step on my phone. We're going to promise she does. All right, the text our new belly lifts. I wanted you to have this team sports. Okay, hold on. All right, so belly. To do okay. So that belly rub and it's the belly lift. Check out yours. Up, 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 up. There you go. Wait, wait. There you go. All right. Intentional. And it's too much. But sometimes the person don't want you to do that. Yeah. Okay. That was pretty cool, huh? I've never done it from that view before. So those are kind of the methods for the belly lift. But I did notice multiple people put raise your hand if I told you, oh, they're doing the belly lift with go to the react at the bottom with the little heart. I don't know if you're on your phone, I don't know what to tell you, but if you're on your computer, go to the react button. If I told you they're doing the belly lift while you're doing the belly rub, raise your hand. Like do that thing. Because there were a couple people. Oh shoot. Or just raise it like Alexa's. Yeah. Alexandra. Because I know there were a couple people that I said that to. Yeah, okay. So sometimes when you're doing just the belly rub, they will do a belly lift. Oh, I think Keegan did too. I think Keegan did too. Yeah, and Alexandra, your mare did. I think there were two more. So yeah, Beth, yep. So if they do it while you're doing the belly rub, you're good. You're good. Because I feel like if they can do it with just that, that's awesome. Okay. But there's that video. If you guys want to watch that, I just put that on the coaching community. Okay, Lisa says last week we watched a clip with you and you talked about sticky areas that you could see when the horse was being rubbed around the scapula. I wonder if you could talk about what you saw, what I feel if I came across a sticky area. Yeah, I do see that a lot. And I just did a live call. And some of you guys were on that. It's on my Winning Your Horse's Heart page. It was like an hour and 30 minutes. I massaged Georgia. And on the back, I hit a sticky spot. Okay. So I talk about it in sore back series. But when you're rubbing, okay, and you hit like a bump, or you hit, or if you're rubbing up and your finger it like sticks and then it goes, that's a sticky spot. Okay. And I see them as people are rubbing, because if you're rubbing, it should go like this. Okay. If at any point in time you're rubbing and it kind of goes like that and then you keep rubbing, that's a sticky spot. Does that make sense? And I want you to stop and go to that spot and figure out what the problem is. And so when I find a sticky spot, I generally kind of attack it a little bit with some friction. On the scapulas, I see that a lot. The fascia will get tight. I see it a lot on the back, especially around the loin, the end of the rib shelf where those trigger points like to hang out. You can find it in the forelegs. We're going to be talking about that this week. I have a great video for those of you that were back with me way back with Molly when we did the original clinic, that it was like a 2 week, I think it was either 2 weeks or 4 weeks. There was a guy there named Mike Matthews with his horse. We call him Baby Dragon. Bodie was his name. I actually they live in Ohio. I went to their place and did a 2-day clinic with Hannah Matthews. That's her dad. So he was working on the leg of Bodie, and he would be working down the leg, and every time he hit a certain spot on that leg, Bodie would come around and do that to him. And then after Mike had given him a break, Bodie came and pointed to that same spot 2 times, twice. And I was like, hey, I'm going to need you to go find out what your horse is pointing at. And it's the same spot that he almost wanted to bite you twice. Same spot. And then I said, I want you to do direct pressure on that spot and get it released. And when he did that, and I said, videotape it. When he slowed down enough to find it, he held his finger there, and Bodie had these huge releases, and then he rubbed it, and then he came back and rubbed it all over again, and he was perfect. No problem. So this little tiny pain in the butt spot was stuck in his leg somewhere, and he just needed someone to get that little tiny spot of tension out of his leg. So those can be anywhere on your horse's body. Okay. So if you're running your hands over, and I want you to pay attention. I mean, feel free if you have a horse that you can close your eyes around. Georgia, I could. Chester, maybe. But if you can close your eye around your horse, like go with your senses for a while and just be like, what does this feel like really? Okay. Because a lot of times in my videos, one person asked me, they were like, are you talking to someone? Because I was doing this. Because I want to take my eyes out of it, and I wanted to just feel what the horse was doing. And I was like, no, I do weird stuff all the time. You'll get used to it. Don't worry. They were like, are you blind? No, I can see. Okay. So I want you to just pay attention to stuff like that. And if your hand slides fine one direction and then you go the opposite direction, it gets hung up on something, find out why. Okay. Or if you're moving your hand around and you're going kind of fast and your horse comes around at you fast and goes, ooh, I don't like that. Slow down and find out where that spot is, because it's not the whole spot. It's a specific spot. And you have to find it and get that tension out and help your horse out. And once you start doing that, man, you're opening a ton of doors between you and your horse. Just like it's going to be a different relationship. Oh, if you guys have watched that live that I did on Georgia, she put me on the exact spot on her butt that she wanted rubbed. And it was funny because there was a little cut there that had like some crusty stuff on it. And she was very specific about where she wanted it. And my mare, she doesn't ever really say much to me about what she wants. So generally, she stands like a statue. I mean, you guys have all seen her, but she was very, very specific. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing when I see that. And then also another thing I want you to pay attention to is if you're seeing like things shooting out, so trigger points. Okay. So and we'll talk about this on the ribs when we get to the ribs, because that's where I find most of them, but I find them in the scapula also, and we talked a tiny bit about it in the scapula. But you can find them anywhere. They can be anywhere. Okay. But if you're rubbing and it's shooting stuff off in different directions and making a whole side of your horse twitch or like twitching in a different area, that's a trigger point, and you have to find them and fix them. I say find them and destroy them, but that's how you fix them. Okay. So there, I hope that helps. That was a long explanation for that question. Teresa, I'm sure I didn't get Alita's tension out. She tolerated slapping better than rubbing. I haven't yet to find out just where the release is. Yeah, I agree with that statement. And I don't think we figured out where it was or what she needed from us. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I was trying to think about that a little bit. Maybe try slowing it down, or we haven't tried just direct pressure, but in a light way. Okay. So, I talk a lot about change your stroke, change your stroke, change your stroke. How about don't do a stroke? How about pressure? Hold it, touch it. Okay. Wait. So this is similar to, grounding, right? So just touch. Sometimes when horses can't handle what you got going on, like if you got too much, there's too much going on, I'll just, kind of like I do that on the forehead a little bit. Just touch it and hold it. So that might be something to try, Teresa. Okay. If you do yoga, I think of the belly lift. Yeah, like the cat pose, 100%. Yep. Georgia, I'll tell her you said that, Stephanie. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, cool. Any more questions? I'm just making sure. Yeah, that goal. You know what I found out for that live video? I can actually turn that into a bunch of clips, so I might do that. Would a sausage in the masseter or tricep that you've talked about, be considered an adhesion or sticky spot, or more of a tight hypertonic muscle? It's an adhesion. Yeah, if you want to be fancy. Yep. I'm thinking adhesion because of the direction. Yeah, totally. Should have kept reading. Yeah, it's an adhesion. Okay. Amy, I did that too today with his hind leg with my shoulder against him. He thought, oh, I better look at the face instead of just, yeah. Twitching, does that look like the skin crawling? Yeah. It almost looks like it's shooting a twitch. Yeah. So kind of think about when horses do that fly twitch thing, it's like that, but it's more of a direct line. That's the best way I can describe it. Okay. So, yeah, and it comes back to a very specific point, and we will talk about that when we do the ribs, because I bet you I could find some on some horses. Okay. So yeah. Let's see. And then I also had a question from Susie. She said, and this was just a cool thing I wanted to talk about. You know what? I'll probably talk about this on my podcast too. She said, do you do body work before or after exercise? So I'll talk a little bit about some some mentalities that I hear. And, I figured out that I started my podcast and I call it Tales from the Field because not tails like a horse tail, although that'd be cute, but tails like Tales, tails from the field. Because, and you guys will find this also. When you're learning at school, like equine massage school, and I've been to 3 of them, you're learning the book work, okay? But the reality is, that doesn't fly a lot of the time when you're out in the field with a living, breathing horse that has a personality, or it's kind of just a good baseline. And I think you guys can relate to what I'm saying just based off taking my online clinic, right? We're all, most of us here are doing the online clinic. And it's like the videos are great, aren't they? Right? Except when you run into a situation where that video ain't helping you out much and you need a little assistance. Okay. So, videos are fantastic, but the feedback is where it's at. Okay, I can see that's happened. Like for Maple, for example, let's be real. And I know that in the clinic I say, if they don't like this, try this. But we have to be reminded, right? You can't just, well, I told you once in the intro video that if they don't like one thing, try something else. It's like, no, you have to live it a little bit. So, it's great to learn stuff as you're learning, right? Because you have to learn in a specific way for your brain to understand it. But the reality is when you start doing it a lot on different horses, and then that book work doesn't work on so many horses, you have to figure out something else to try. And so I'll tell you, so yeah, that's why I call it Tales from the Field, because I contradict a lot of stuff I learned in school. Sorry, because the reality is everything like that doesn't work like that. And so I do a lot of things that people say, according to the school book, you aren't supposed to do. Well, sorry, that's how it works. Okay. So one of the questions, like I said, from Susie was, do you do body work before or after an exercise? So let me tell you a little bit about that. According to my schoolwork, they say, do not ride your horse after a massage. Like if you get a massage, don't ride them for 48 hours or something like that. That number kind of changes, whatever. Okay. But let's be real, shall we? That's not going to work for a lot of people's schedules because I come out when I'm scheduled. Sorry, I don't adjust my schedule. It's set. So when I come out, I'm massaging the horse, and if they have a clinic that same day, then they're going to be ridden. That's how it's going to go. And then, I did find a little contradiction in that because in my schooling, they were told that you can sell like clinic or show day massages. Well, what do you mean? You said we're not supposed to massage a horse and then let them, yeah, pre-event. Yeah. What do you mean? You said I'm not supposed to do that. Okay. So the reality is it's best for their body to be able to absorb kind of all the situations, all the feelings, all the releasing of tension, da 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 da. But it's not reality. And another thing is, sometimes I like to know, well, that's kind of one side of it. Another side that I think she was talking a little bit more about was couple cool things. So I personally like to work on horses that are cold because if they're cold, I get the full picture. I get every tight muscle I get every tight fascia. I get every little bit of anxiety or tension or whatever they're holding on to. Okay. But if they go work and are ridden for a while, they're gonna warm up. Okay. So when they warm up, the fascia is gonna loosen up, the range of motion is gonna improve, the muscles are gonna loosen. And so then if they come to me after they've been ridden and I massage them after they're ridden, some of the stuff that's there when they're cold is now no longer there. So I have less of a picture. And I want to know the full picture. But I just tell people that. And then, side note on that, selfishly, my massage is much easier for me to do after they've been ridden. Why? Because they're loosened up. Their muscles are warm. So it's way easier on my own body. So I don't care either way. I do tell people that though. I tell them, if they ask me, Erin, is it okay if I ride after you massage? Well, first of all, the horses I massage are so used to me and are in such good shape that it's really a maintenance massage. Okay. So I'm not getting any crazy work done on horses that I massage. They're rolling. They're machines. Okay. If I have a brand new client and I spend a lot of time massaging them and they're brand new and they haven't had body work, I will say, do not ride this horse. Okay. So I'm kind of picky that way. But if it's one of my regulars, I'm like, yeah, do what you want. Do it. It's fine. They started releasing when I walked in, so you're fine. It's all good. Okay. But if it's a brand new client and I just spent an hour and a half loosening up muscles that have been stuck for years, do not ride them. And that's what I say. I go, no, don't at all. Don't ride them for 2 days. I'd walk them out and I ask them to hand walk them for 15 minutes. Okay. And then they're free to go on their way. But I do want them to really let them release and relax. And I told you guys, a lot of times after that, the horses are, if it's a full-on intense massage, what are the 3 things they're going to do after that massage? Write it in the comments. What are the 3 things they're probably going to do right after that massage, the horse? Almost, Stephanie. Almost. I'm going to read Lisa's question while you guys answer that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to address what Lisa said because that's a great point. No, nope, almost. Oh, this is good. I'm getting you guys on this one. Oh, nope. Oh my gosh. I'm getting you guys on the easiest question and then the hard questions, you're not getting it. Awesome. Oh, yeah. Okay. We got it all together. They're going to drink water. They're going to take a pee and they're going to take a nap. Although, who was it that sent me a video of their horse? Oh, it was it Jess and Johnny? He rolled afterward. Yeah. Oh, I haven't put that video up yet. That was a good one. Yeah, they're gonna drink water, they're gonna take a pee, and they're gonna take a nap. Yep. Okay. Yep, Jess. Yeah. And then Lise said, I know for me, after releases I receive from my chiro, I sometimes feel a little loose and unstable. So I'm thinking that I may modify the bodywork on my horse if I was going to ride him. Yes, that's true. So I was telling you guys about how good my ladies are in town that give me a massage. They're so good. One time my massage was so good, my eyesight was affected for like 20 minutes. It was like blurry. And so I drove to QFC, which was about 2 blocks away, and I went inside and I got some sushi to snack on while I drank some water. And so I ate a little bit and then my eyesight kind of came back to normal. And I was like, that was a good massage. So yeah, you got to be careful. And then one time I thought this was funny, and I know I've shared this before. I did some work on this little Arabian, and his chest and scapulas were so stuck to his body that I worked on it for like 10 minutes, and I got this whole leg range of motion back, a ton, like a lot of leg range of motion. I got it back for him. And then the next day, she didn't ride him or work him that day, but the next day she took him to the round pen, and she kind of called me up, and she was like, he's tripping, like, and I could tell she was kind of like not blaming me, but kind of like, what did you do to my horse? He's tripping. And I was like, yeah, what? You're welcome. He couldn't move his shoulders before. Give him some time. He's got to learn how to walk again. I mean, he was so stuck. Now I've given him 4 or 5 more inches of range of motion. It's like, yeah, he is going to trip. He needs to figure out how to move his front end again. He's been stuck for so long. So that was kind of cool. I like that sort of testimonial. I had another guy that told me he was this little rough cowboy. I worked on his horse who couldn't do, it was kind of a shoulder thing and a lateral flexion thing, and like went into the pole. And the next day he called me up, and he's like, that horse come shooting out of that bucket, and he almost bucked me off. He was so hot and bothered, he was like ripping up out of there. So he was all fired up that his horse almost bucked him off. And I was like, you're welcome. I don't know. That's weird, but okay, cool. He was all happy. So he was telling all his friends, yeah, she loosened my horse up so much he tried to buck me off. I was like, okay, let's not spread that around too much, but but yeah, if you're, like I said, if you've done a lot of work, give them time off. And then I like to hand walk or free lunge them to give them that chance to kind of feel their body again. And if that's all good, then you're good to go. Okay. Good job, you guys. A++. You guys are A++ students. Okay, I'm going to share a homework for this week. Are you ready? Let me find it. I believe it's on. There's that video of the belly if you want to watch it again. Here we go. Oh, I got to pin it to the top. Here it is. All the forelegs. All the forelegs. So we're going to do the foreleg traction and jaw sole. The knee rub. And I added scratch because you got to get in there. Got to get in there. The fetlock rub. The coronet band. Okay. Now, if you have my clinic memorized, you're going to know that the ting points are also on that coronet band. If you guys would like to do the ting points, you can do them. I do not want the videotape of that. It is like paint drying. Okay. I want you to videotape it for you and see what you get. But it is a long, slow process. But if anything crazy happens, send that to me because I want to see that. And I'll share that with everybody. But ting points are really interesting. Check that part of the clinic out and then try that on your own. And you can videotape that for yourself. And if something crazy happens, then send it to me because I want to see that. But it's just weight release. Okay, nothing cool. You're looking for the blinks and then the releases, okay? But it's really slow process. So don't do it when you're in a hurry because it ain't gonna work. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna do is I want to show you guys. Oops, hold on. I want to show you guys all this homework that I just did, and I did it in the live session I was just talking about. So let's do that real quick and then we'll be done, okay? But it was pretty good. If you guys haven't watched that live session yet, check it out. It was good. George is funny. Okay, here it is. Let me pull that up. And it's at 36 minutes. And 52 seconds. Working on the first legs. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today in journey through the horse. So scroll down on this. Do this pretty quick. Tell you, you're going to find little bits of tension. You're going to absolutely love it. Now, if they don't love the front legs, they're going to love the back legs. And you pretty much so you're going to come here, the leg, up and down. You're just
We can't hear you.
Are you asking me? I've been on Facebook.
Oh, I was mute. I muted it. That's why. Okay. It's all right. I'm just telling you to rub as I'm doing it. I'm just like rub, rub, rub. This one's tighter. It's like it's like scratch it, rub, 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 jostle, jostle, up and down. And means, okay? So that shows that they have some discomfort, slow down and find the exact spot on your leg that's tight. There we go. This is the tight spot. Rub, rub, rub. I like to go up and down on these muscles because they're long and skinny. Looks pretty good, but I like to start with like up and down. Rub, rub, rub. There's a little spot right there. Okay? Up and down, up and down, up and down. Up and down. There you go. That's good. Okay. Okay. So that's hold on. There we go. Okay, so that's it. It's pretty easy. It is my favorite thing to do, I think. I love rubbing horses' legs. It just makes such a huge difference because they don't get their legs rubbed. They don't get their legs rubbed. Okay. And they're carrying around these giant bodies on these legs. And especially horses that have really big bodies, like warm bloods, they got these giant bodies and their legs are not that big compared to their body. Like Georgia, if you look at her, she's got nice legs. They're big. But some of these horses running around, they got these huge bodies and their legs just don't have a lot of muscle. So they're carrying a lot of weight. And if we can release tension in their legs, it just makes a big difference. And you want to get that tension out because they're not going to be able to do it. Not on their legs, I don't think. Okay. Yeah, so rub those legs up and down, all sections. Now you guys, you watched that whole video, so that's how long my video was, and I did a pretty thorough job. Okay. So feel free to videotape that and send that in, and then pay attention because there were a couple points where Georgia, there was nothing crazy that she loved on that, but there was one spot where she went like this, and her face just kind of like she liked that. Okay. So sometimes that's all you're going to get, that they really enjoy it. But some horses are really going to release a lot of tension when you do this, especially if you haven't done it before. Okay. I try to rub Meg's legs after I take off the wraps when I'm done riding. Yeah. 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 They like it. They love it. And a lot of body workers don't do it, to be honest with you. So, we are taught in school there's no muscles from the knee down. I don't care. There's tension from the knee down, so that's good enough for me. Okay. So enjoy doing the legs this week and get those videos in. You guys have been doing great. Any final questions? Any questions? You're going to like this week. This is also how you get rid of leg tension. I keep telling Chester that. I'm like, Chester, this is how I'm supposed to fix you, buddy. No, this is how I fixed Chester's front legs. We're still working on the hinds. Oh, yeah. Let me read that. Beth says Keegan's been on stall rest for some swelling around his cannon bone tendon area on both front legs. Will it be okay? I would first always check with a vet, but I think absolutely this is going to be good. Absolutely. But check with the vet first, send them a text message. They don't care. They're going to answer. I've never had a vet say, don't massage a horse. The massage in general, you don't want to massage if there's any infection. Do not massage the horse. If there is bruising, you don't want to massage. Not that you can tell bruising on horses though, right? You know what I mean? Or if it's an open cut, like, so if it's an injury, like someone wanted me to massage their horse after their horse had had a surgery. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to. I'm not going to. And it was one of my favorite clients and one of my favorite horses. But this is the thing, and this is where I covered my own butt. If that horse all of a sudden had to go back to the vet, guess what? Guess what they would have said? Well, he just got a massage. Does that matter? That's what they would have said. So I don't even put myself in that position because you don't know. You don't know. So don't ever put yourself in a weird position like that. But yeah, so Beth, check with the vet, and it should be like literally a text message. But I think any horse on stall rest massage is the best. And then you said swelling around the cannon bone tendon. Yeah, I mean, swelling needs to be, unless it's, don't do hard friction on stuff that's going to cause more swelling, but getting the blood flow, because blood flow is so important for healing. That's going to be really important. But and he will probably love it. So especially the fetlocks and the knee rub and then the above the knee. So don't massage maybe where the injury is, but the fetlocks for sure, the knee and then the foreleg. Okay, but just talk to them. They should answer you very easily. Nancy, it's on my YouTube. It's called Tales from the Field. It's on YouTube. What section do we find? Yeah, the ting points are also in the foreleg section and they're attached to the cornet band part. They're cool, they're fun. I just don't want to watch 10-minute videos of them. Okay. All right. Awesome. This week you guys are gonna love it. I love it. I'm gonna do it on Chester. That'll be fun. You guys will see. It'll be good. Okay, you're welcome. You guys have a great week. And thanks for your videos. You guys are doing fantastic. Keep it up. Okay. Bye. You're welcome. My pleasure.